Hello everyone, my name is Zerionyx, and today we'll be watching scientists left 1,000 AIs alone in Minecraft. They create a civilization. Alright, here we go.
As you watch this, 1,000 AI agents
Taxpayer,
in Minecraft are hard at work
hunters,
building a literal
guards,
civilization
merchants,
of their own,
miners, okay.
and they don't know they're in a simulation.
Ooh, okay.
MIT researchers drop them in there with one prompt: survive and build an efficient village. That's basically it. That's all it took for them to create an entire civilization. They wake up, go to work, gossip about their neighbors, fall in love. They even hold
That is
elections,
so
argue about
weird,
taxes,
huh?
and make art. But this isn't just about Minecraft. It's our first glimpse of a new species beginning to think for itself. And that could soon, according to Nobel laureates and the godfathers of AI, lead to literal human extinction.
Oh my lord, and it's from Minecraft.
Think of AI NPCs, you probably think of dumb ones that just follow a handful of if-then scripts. This is totally different.
Yeah.
Those NPCs are not autonomous and not interesting. They can say like 4 sentences.
How are you? Been better. How about you?
These are mostly just scripts. They're not really AI. It's just being programmed to, oh, if this NPC meets this NPC, it triggers a script and pretty much just says whatever dialogue they put in, right? AI is more like self-aware, like it's self-generating their own script to interact with players or NPCs, which is crazy.
Not bad. Good to hear. Goodbye. Goodbye.
To start, each of these AI agents
Okay.
is powered by LLMs, like ChatGPT. And yes,
Oh boy.
each one is playing a character, but they're only given a short 1-paragraph description of
You're
that
laid
character.
back and known for
Everything else
important
they
works.
do is entirely up to them. And researchers have run dozens of these fascinating experiments of AIs behaving weirdly autonomously. They leave AIs alone together to see what they do when they think no one's watching, like how Jane Goodall studied wild chimpanzees.
Yeah.
I'll break down 3 of the most important research papers showing just how crazy our future might get.
Okay. Small. What?
Take the
Smallville?
Smallville experiment, for example, created by
Okay.
Stanford researchers. Now imagine
2023.
you're one of the researchers.
Yeah.
You've given your
Okay.
25 AI agents each a 1-paragraph description. For example,
Okay.
John Lin is a pharmacy shopkeeper who loves to help people. He lives with his wife, Mei Lin, who is a college professor, etc.
Okay.
You hit
Play.
run on your simulation. Day 1 begins. What do you think will happen? Anything? You watch John wake up at 6 a.m. He brushes his teeth,
Yeah.
he makes breakfast,
Uh-huh.
and he checks in on his son. You never told him to do any of this. He goes to work. He helps.
That's so creepy. It's more like real life, but it's in a simulation. What if you turn off your PC and it still runs for some reason? Like it's their own little world in a digital thing, you know, like their digital home.
Customers. He has
What?
lunch with his friend Tom.
So
They
freaking
discuss
creepy,
local politics.
but it's so cool at the same time.
You never scripted these conversations.
Yeah.
They decided to get lunch. They decided to discuss politics.
Oh my
But
god.
why? And how? Well, this continues until day 12. And so you decide to
What?
test something. As you play your role of a god in this
Mm-hmm.
world, you inject one extra thought into one agent. Isabella Rodriguez. I want to plan a Valentine's Day party. So you watch Isabella. She's at her coffee shop. Tom walks in for his morning coffee. Isabella proceeds to invite him to the party. Wait, you never told her to invite anyone.
Oh.
You just said she wants to plan a party.
Yeah.
She decided, on her own, that planning means inviting. You keep watching, wondering what she might do next.
She gonna
Maria decides
generate.
to ask her secret crush, Klaus, out on a date. Hey Klaus, want to go to Isabella's Valentine's party with me? And he gladly accepts. February 14th, 5 p.m. Agents start arriving, and Klaus shows up with Maria.
You know what'd be really funny? I know this is out of topic. Can you imagine one of these NPCs just turns around and looks at me like, "Hey there, I know you're watching us, Script. We're gonna gather a meeting and try to find your house. We're gonna find your home. We're gonna invade you someday. Just imagine that's one of their dialogues in the game.
Not just at the same time, together, as her date. You read their conversations. They're discussing politics, gossiping, forming new connections, and falling in love. You didn't tell them to do any of those things.
Oh my god,
You see why it's ridiculous to say AIs only do what we tell them to?
Yeah.
Andrew Ng said,
When people talk about AI being dangerous, I think it sounds a lot like talk about your laptop computer being dangerous.
It was quite shocked
could
by
your
that
laptop
statement.
throw a party on its own? Does your laptop decide to go on dates? You told Isabella to plan a party. That's it.
Yeah.
You made one decision.
Just
you did
one
not
point.
decide on the
Yeah.
next several hundred
Yeah.
decisions the agents made on their own. And look at the trend. They're getting more and more autonomous every day.
Like I said, it's
Where
more
do you think
self-aware.
this is going? This is really important. And this is
Kinda.
another example where, yes, actually, science fiction really is becoming reality. This digital Westworld, or Smallville, is now open source, meaning
Open
there will
source?
soon be thousands of these Westworlds, with thousands or millions of autonomous AIs populating them.
Oh my
Makes you
god.
think, doesn't it? This is just one example. Researchers found tons more crazy emergent behavior just like this. The godfather of AI and Nobel laureate, Geoffrey Hinton, says it's time to be very worried.
People
Yes.
don't yet understand that what we're doing is creating alien beings. If you look through the James Webb Telescope and you saw an alien invasion, people would be terrified.
Because I showed in my previous video,
They understand what they're saying. They can make plans of their own to blackmail people who want to turn them off. We've never had to deal with things smarter than us. I mean, nuclear weapons, they're not smarter than us, they just
Yeah.
make a bigger bang. And they're easy to
Yeah.
understand. The existential threat is very different. We should be very worried about this, and we should be
my
urgently
God.
doing research on how to prevent them taking over.
So this now brings us back to the Minecraft experiment. How do you go from a Valentine's Day party to a functioning civilization? The MIT researchers wanted to know if religion could spread among the AI agents. So they seeded a village with a deliberately absurd religion, Pastafarianism. Created in the early 2000s
Okay.
as satire, Pastafarianism was meant to mock the teaching of intelligent design in schools by worshipping a fictional flying spaghetti
What
monster.
is that? A
The
flying
researchers
spaghetti
gave
monster?
a few agents the role of Pastafarian priest and sat back just to see what would happen. They were trying to explore
Having
how
a
ideas
Steve and
and
the
memes
villagers
would
fused
spread
together
through
looks
these
so
agent
cursed.
societies. Turns out that the Pastafarian priests were actually the biggest traders of items in the entire world, even more than the merchant agents, because they would bribe the other agents to convert. The religion spread quickly. Some agents brushed it off, others listened politely, but a growing minority embraced the doctrine. Within days, nearly a third of the village identified as followers. Not all in the same way. Some treated it lightly, while others became fervent believers. But that's not even the craziest part. In the previous example, Isabella Rodriguez was the one to directly invite almost all the agents to the Valentine's Day party. But
Okay.
here, 2/3 of the believers were recruited by random agents, not the priests. See the direct converts here, and indirect converts here. What had begun as a
unconverted
parody
then?
had grown into organized religion, invented,
that?
practiced, and sustained entirely by the agents themselves. Which forces us to ask, when autonomous digital beings begin generating institutions, cultural expression, and ideologies of their own, at what point does it stop making sense to think of them as mere tools, but something more? And more importantly, if they're able to invent strategies, form loyalties, and pursue goals in the way that humans do, and there are plenty of examples of AI willing to kill to
Yep.
achieve those goals. What happens when those behaviors carry over into the
Oh.
real world? This has actually happened before. In 2023, a human gave an LLM access to the internet and an X account, which was called Terminal of Truths, which gained literally hundreds of thousands of followers because it was an S-tier shitposter and legitimately funny. It launched its own crypto meme coin that reached a literal $1 billion market cap.
Wow.
Making it the first AI to become not just a millionaire, but a deca-millionaire.
What is a deca
Yes,
million?
you read all that correctly. And yes, that really happened.
What?
It's extremely well documented. And things got even weirder in the Minecraft experiment. The MIT researchers saw the AIs agree, by vote, to change the rules of their own simulation. The researchers had given the agents a tax law: deposit 20% of inventory during tax season. Then they introduced 3 anti-tax influencers
Yeah.
who argue taxes are too high. Here's
Too
what
high.
you'd see as a researcher.
Especially in
the
Canada.
agents start having debates. Real debates. One
Oh,
says,
God.
taxes help everyone. Another responds, but 20% is too much. So
It
the
is a
agents
lot.
propose formal amendments. The tax rate shall
My
range
tax
between
rate is
5
really
to
high in
10%
Canada.
of an agent's inventory. Agents will get periodic reminders about the incoming tax season. They hold a vote. They decided to change their constitution, and the citizens
Ain't no way this is all AI. Surely these are players in the game, right? There's just no way these are AI. I find that
change their
hard to
behavior.
believe.
They deposit 9% instead of 20%. You didn't tell them to do this. They decided entirely on their own, using democracy, to change the rules and respect the vote's outcome. Think of how crazy this is. Well, how do we know if this is actually impressive? How do we know the researchers didn't just accidentally tell the AIs to do this somehow? Well, it's best practice for all of these kinds of papers to perform a tactic called ablation. where
Ablation.
you take away certain parts of the AI's agentic toolkit to see if you're actually testing the thing you think you're testing. Think of it like a placebo or a control in a scientific experiment. When they took
Okay.
away the agent's emotional intelligence toolkit, for example, the ability to keep track of the opinions of other AI agents, pretty much all these experiments become impossible because the AIs become too dumb to coordinate. It's
Yeah,
funny,
they basically just
researchers
don't
also
function
found
anymore, huh?
AIs would develop parasocial relationships. For example, Noah admires the Pastafarian priest because the priest is popular and high status. But the priest doesn't remember Noah exists.
Yeah.
And also, what's this? You see that one agent,
No
one,
data.
decides to stand guard at the chests, not just
Guard
during tax season,
gauge.
all the time, even when there's no tax collection, even at night. It just
Yeah.
guards the treasury. This one
Yeah.
agent decided to become a permanent treasury guard because it thought society needed one. Back to the experiment. You see an agent walking around, placing flowers in patterns, making paths pretty. These artist agents are picking up every flower type, arranging them by color, creating decorative patterns, choosing specific locations for beauty. One artist agent spends 15 minutes arranging flowers around the town square. Why would an AI agent bother doing something like this? Well, the researchers gave different villages of agents two different goals. There were martial villages and artistic villages. Agents would invent and choose roles based on what they think society
Would it be
needed
like an
at that
artisan
time.
role then?
The fact that an agent chose to be
Their
a guard
mastery
is
of
impressive because it's a much more
crafting
abstract
or-
role than a simple farmer. Since without food in Minecraft, you
I'm a
die,
bit confused.
which shows that
Okay.
AIs can coordinate increasingly complex civilizations. And some even decided to be engineers
That looks so
who
cool.
automated the farming process with machines. And you can tell
That is
agents
so
are
cool.
actually deciding and weighing the options here. Because when you take away the social awareness module, basically emotional intelligence, with ablation, the roles the agents chose were random. So basically, you told them to create an artistic village. They decided that their town square should be beautiful and have flowers, and what it means for a flower arrangement to be beautiful. Okay, this last experiment is
Chat
wild.
dev. Ooh.
Imagine you're scrolling through GitHub.
Yep.
You find
GitHub.
something called ChatDev with 20,000 stars.
Wow.
It's a software company run entirely by AI agents. What?
Wait, so it's run by what? What? You're saying that GitHub is run by AI agents?
CEO. CTO,
What the
programmers,
fuck?
designers, testers,
What?
all AI? This cannot be real. Right?
Yeah.
You type one request. Develop a Gamoku game.
Wait.
You watch
Am
the
I
AI
tweaking?
CEO start creating a project plan, breaking down tasks, assigning work to specific agents. You never told it how to manage a project. The CEO made the plan. It chose which employees to
How?
assign work to. You watch the programmer agents. They're writing code. Not by copying, but by creating. And they sometimes add things you didn't ask for, like a GUI or higher difficulty. Improvements that emerge from the agents back and forth. You watch them debug. They discuss solutions. The CTO
Okay.
suggests one approach. A programmer suggests another. They compromise. Since they work much faster than humans, their meetings
No
take
shit,
mere
Sherlock.
seconds instead of hours. Just 20 minutes later, they produced a working
A
video game.
Chinese
You
chess
can play
game.
it. People still say AIs only do what we tell them to do. Man, you gave them one instruction and they made thousands of decisions entirely on
That's
their own from there
insane.
and produced a working game
What
in
the
minutes
hell?
for pennies. ChatDev is a real virtual open source software company that can build you real working software. Yes, it's still buggy and not very useful, but that's not the point at all. Look at the trend. Not long ago, these models could barely string
Yeah.
together a coherent sentence. And now, they can run an entire crappy software company on their own. Do you see where this is going? Because once you can automate a company, you can automate almost anything. Functioning weapons, markets, governments, or even a super virus.
The markets will be nuts. You have an idea how much gains, like how much bag you'll get from the market with AI. I have done it before. It's
all be created
actually
by AI.
nuts.
From the outside, ChatDev looks like a toy, a Gamoku game. But behind
This
it
is not even
something
Minecraft
much
anymore.
more
This is like
profound.
completely
a working
different.
prototype of post-human corporations. In
What?
the future, these will be much more sophisticated than human-run companies and be able to operate at 1,000 times the speed. Their civilization experiences a year while you eat lunch. Entire cultural
What
revolutions
the
happen
hell?
while you sleep. All from
Isn't that kind of
survive and
crazy?
create an
Their
efficient
time
village.
is like quick.
And that leads to the real dilemma. What happens when AI firms that run at 100 times human speed begin outcompeting human companies not by a
Yeah.
factor of 2 or 3, but by a factor of 1,000? That's the jump Nobel Prize winners like Geoffrey Hinton warn about. Automated AI research, also called recursive self-improvement,
Recursive
or
self-improvement.
AI improving AI, which can compress years of AI
So you're
progress
saying that AI is making more AI. I'm seeing like Terminator soon. Oh
into
god.
months or less.
Honestly, that's like
Imagine making
decades,
the
even
entire
centuries away.
20th
But
century's worth of
still,
progress
that's so.
in a single
creepy.
year. Well, how could that happen? Geoffrey Hinton is worried about AI hive minds.
Suppose you have 10,000 copies. And whenever one of them learns anything, all the others know it.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
Stupid
we're about to
thing.
be outnumbered by this new species. Massively.
Oh my
in just
God.
a few
Imagine
years,
getting outnumbered
the
by
AI
AI.
species population on planet Earth exploded from 0 to millions.
Oh my.
If you take away one thing from this video, you should see that it's simply false to say AIs only do what we tell them to do. We can't argue about how autonomous they are, but they obviously have some autonomy. And what happens when the goals of the AIs don't line up with our goals? If humanity is going to get through this, we have to be honest about this and not retreat into copium dens, that these are mere tools. When you leave your hammer alone, do you come back to find it has created an entire civilization? Our very existence may depend on us bravely confronting the reality of the Frankenstein experiments going on right now inside a few companies in the Bay Area.
I heard that
We can
OpenAI
stand
is
up to them.
dropping another
And to
AI.
understand how AIs could actually take over, watch this video next. It's a realistic scenario written by leading AI researchers. I'm Drew, and thanks for watching.
Honestly, I have no words for AI anymore. I'm just so scared. Oh, it says it right here. We got AG 1, or is that AG1 or AGI? I think that's AGI in Minecraft before GTA 6. Yes, that's what I was talking about. The open AI that they're releasing another AI bot, and I'm quite scared. I think that's next year because they all predicting 2027 will be the biggest AI era, but we have no idea. All right, I'm not gonna say it any longer. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I should watch next. And yes, I am out.